I don't know if I was aware of it or not, but I literally, becoming a child life specialist, picked a job where I was helping kids come up with coping strategies to deal with their, fear of being in a hospital and having an illness and having to go through all these things. I had a lot of generalized anxiety growing up, which I think is from all the anxiety I felt around me, but I didn't really know what was going on. I mean, at age 4, you kind of know when you've lost your house, you don't see your friends anymore, your entire, family. Like, I was around all these aunts and uncles, and now I'm totally in a different country. People around me were speaking English. I didn't speak any English. When I started preschool, I didn't understand what anybody was saying, My mom said I was just really quiet for 3 months.
All I remember is holding my mom's hand, walking down the street, and all the cars were stopped. People were walking all over the street. And then I look up, and there are bodies of naked men hung upside down by their feet with knives and sticks and various things sticking out of them.
Both of my parents were part of the old government, which was the monarch, who was Shah. And my mom was actually the first woman governor ever appointed in Iran.
She was very for women's rights. That was her first thing she did in her situation. It was kind of hard for men to understand. She was trying to change the idea of people around her, just to show that women have a power and can do anything the same as a man can do.
People were basically like telling my parents that, they thought it was dangerous for them to stay there. My dad really took everything seriously. My mom said, oh, this is just politics. It'll blow over. Like, maybe I'll lose my job, but it'll just be a new government. It doesn't mean like anything bad will happen to us. It did get worse. And so there were instances where friends of theirs who were also in the government would be like taken in the middle of the night and nobody knew where they were. And the protests started becoming more violent. And then the Shah actually fled the country. So by the time my mom decided that it was really dangerous and that we needed to leave, the United States had already closed its borders to any Iranians.
My dad, through a very interesting story of a Thanksgiving dinner at a colleague's house who turned out to be good friends with the head of the immigration service, wound up getting connected to the head of INS, who heard the story about us being trapped and got visas for Mom and Faria and I to come to the U.S.
They basically had to leave everything they owned. They were allowed to get a little bit of some jewelry and things like that, but basically they had frozen everybody's bank accounts and they just couldn't get anything. So they went from, being really well off, coming from a pretty wealthy family, to basically just having a purse of some cash and some jewelry, and they had to leave everything else. We ended up moving to California because my mom's older brother was finishing graduate school there. And so we were a family of four, they were a family of four, and we moved into his graduate student housing, which was 2 bedrooms. So we had 1 bedroom, they had 1 bedroom. I was 4. So I don't really remember anything negative. I remember like playing with my cousins and still having a lot of fun. And my brother was older, right? So he was 8. And so he realized like that life had completely changed. Like we didn't have any money anymore. And he was getting like a lot of bullying at school because he had an accent. And around that time, the Iran hostage affair had also started. So there was a lot of negativity towards Iranians in the US at that time as well. My mom was really depressed, but at the same time, like she had her brother, she had a couple sisters who had also moved to the United States. So she had a little bit of family support. Not only was my mom not allowed to go back to Iran, so she kind of lost that, but then she was never, fully accepted here. And I think she felt like she kind of lost a piece of her identity, and that even if she went back to Iran, it would be completely different. So she wouldn't really belong there either, right? Because she didn't live through the war. She didn't live through all the struggle of the revolution. And so it was just in this in-between world.
Watching her being so strong, acting like, okay, this is a job, I can do it, and cleaning the table and, just working like, taking order from, and that showed me how strong she was.